Hello and welcome, Pokemon fans. There are those who call me Bardbreaker, and it's time for another Sunday Pokemon Challenge run. Last week, in celebration of our great American freedom, we played through Pokemon White with just a Freedom Eagle Braviary. This week, though, let's go back a few gens into Kanto and ask and answer the question, can I beat Pokemon Fire Red with just an Ekans? Ekans is a relatively weak first-form snake Pokemon introduced back in Gen 1 and most famously was used by Team Rocket's Jessie in the anime. It has fairly low stats, totaling in at 288, the same as Ditto and Barboach, so not great. It has pretty weak stats overall, with really only our physical attack being passable. I'm worried about our HP being so low, but we'll have to make do. It's called a challenge for a reason. Move-wise, we don't have a lot going for us. We start with Wrap and Leer, a borderline useless combination. We do get Poison Sting early though for some same type attack bonus, but it's still going to be super weak. Honestly, our best move that we'll probably learn all game by level up is Bite, which fortunately we learn early at level 13, which is just in time for Brock. Beyond that, looking at TMs, we do get a bit more coverage. Earthquake and Giga Drain are both great moves to learn, but we have to beat Giovanni at Viridian City and Erica and Celadon City before we get those. Sludge Bomb would be absolutely amazing, but we don't get it until the post-game when the second half of the Sevi Islands open up. Iron Tail is a maybe, and we might even be forced to use Strength for this one. At this point though, I always remind you guys that I write the script as I go, and I haven't actually started playing yet. Everyone make your guesses down below to please the almighty Algorithm, god of the YouTube algorithm, and to let me know if you think I can do this or not. I'm going to say that I can, and that I may even be able to do it without Double Team, but it's going to be rough at times. At least we're Poison type, so we can't be poisoned ourselves, which will save us some time early on. Lastly, a quick reminder of our usual rules. In battle, I can only use Ekans. I'll need some other Pokemon for HMs for story progression, but they won't be allowed to be used in combat. I also won't be using any items in battle. Held items and items outside of battle will be allowed though. And lastly, no cheats, glitches, or exploits, so let's begin. I start off by using the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Bulbasaur with Ekans so that we can do the whole run with it. We aren't weak to any of the opposing types, but we also don't have the type advantage against any of them either. And by the endgame, I plan to have moves that are super effective against all of them, so it doesn't really matter which one we do here. I nickname it Snake, because it's Ekans spelled backwards, and I'm hilarious. I really feel like somebody else has done that. If I stole my Drybread's joke, I apologize. We start our fight against Tim with Wrap, it's just about all we have, and somehow we miraculously win. Well, hot damn. We got a critical hit there along the way though, and that was absolutely a fight saver for us. Without it, we would have certainly lost. Looking further at our Ekans, we got a female one, so this may be one of the only female Pokemon we've actually had thus far in our runs. I'd actually have to go back and check, and I don't feel like doing that. We have a Naughty Nature, which means more attack and less special defense. Okay, that might actually be pretty useful. Our ability is Intimidate, which lowers our opponent's attack a stage each time they come in, so while that's going to help us quite a bit, it's also going to slow the battles down a bit just because I can't skip that animation. Punching our stats into an IV calculator doesn't really help me out that much. It looks like we definitely rolled awfully low on our attack and speed, but honestly don't know what I'm looking at here since they all have possible rolls of 0. One even says 0 to 31. Doesn't that functionally encompass basically the entire range of rolls except for the max of 32? What am I missing here? Do people actually use these IV calculators? We complete our obligatory package delivery simulator once again, collect our Pokedex and town map, and it's time to begin our run once again. Right off the bat, we stop for a Rattata for Cut Later, nicknaming it Snipticus the 17th, long may he cut, as well as a Pidgey for Fly Later, nicknaming it Flapsity the 17th, long may she fly, and a Mankey for Strength Later, nicknaming it Bicepticus the 17th, long may she lift, and while grinding in Viridian Forest, we also find a Pikachu for Flash Later, nicknaming it Flashelius the 17th, long may he shine. Once we reach level 13, which does take a while due to our lack of power points on Wrap and the prevalence of poison types in the forest, we're finally able to learn Bite, and it's time to take a shot at Brock. And he's super easy. Back in Generation 2, Bite was changed to Dark type, so now that we're in Gen 3, Bite is normally effective against his rocks instead of not very. We easily overpower the Geodude, including a flinch hit, and we take out the Onix. It hits us with some passive bind damage, but it's faster than us, so we don't actually get any flinches with our Bite. But we're doing more damage than it is, so it's just a back and forth battle until we emerge victorious. We make our way into Cerulean City and try Misty right away, and her Staryu promptly mops the floor with us. Ouch. Alright, let's try a rival instead. And that doesn't work either. Well then, let's get a few levels, I suppose. At level 24, we get a good combination of inflicting more damage as well as some decent flinch luck from our Bite, and we're finally able to get to the Charmander with about half of our HP as it misses with Metal Claw and goes down to another Bite. Now that we've beaten our rival, we have a few trainers between here and Bill's house so that we can level up to beat Misty. After fighting our way to build a Pokefile, we get our hush money in the form of an SS ticket, and now it should be time to go back to Misty. We finally get past her Staryu after some delays caused by its recover and Misty's potion, but Starmie is still faster than us and we're confused and we just don't have what it takes here. So after several attempts like this, I decided to just go for more levels. I can actually go all the way down to the SS Anne at this point, but I don't really want to go that far ahead and come all the way back. We fight some of the trainers between here and Vermilion City though, and a bit of wild grinding before heading back to Misty at level 30. We're finally strong enough to two-shot her Staryu reliably, and it certainly helps that we get the flinch. Her Starmie is still faster than us, but because it's part Psychic, it's weak to our Bite, so we take a Water Pulse and hit back with Bite for nearly half of its health. We get hit with another Water Pulse, but this one's a critical hit and it brings us all the way down to 1 HP. Our next Bite rolls high enough though, and we take out the Starmie to finally end the fight. That was rough, honestly a lot harder than I expected it to be. I don't think I've had that much trouble with Misty yet, but we're finally able to move into Vermilion and the SS Anne. After clearing out the trainers on the boat, it's time to take on our rival, and after losing the first attempt, our second one goes much better. We take out his Pidgeotto in 2 hits, while his Kadabra goes down to 1 bite. Raticate is next, and while it survives a couple of bites, we eventually take it out before the Charmeleon comes out to finish the fight. Charmeleon takes a few bites, but we get a couple of lucky flinches and we're able to move past him to get the HM for cut from the sick old sea captain, and now we get into Lieutenant Surge's gym. The trash can puzzle was super easy this time. We got it on our second attempt, and Surge was unusually easy. We take out his entire team with acid. We make our way through Rock Tunnel and into Celadon City, where we head right for Erica's gym. I skip most of the trainers in her gym as I don't want to just overlevel past all our problems if we can help it. Once we get to Erica, it's a pretty easy fight, though it does take a while. We're poison type, so we resist her grass and poison moves pretty well, though we do get paralyzed with a stun spore, which slows us down and keeps us from attacking a few turns. Eventually though, despite her Vileplume's best efforts, we're able to defeat Erica and get our 4th badge. While here in Celadon, we also clear out the Rocket Game Corner and take on Giovanni. His Onix and Rhyhorn both go down to a single Giga Drain each and outlasts his Kangaskhan. It takes 2 Rock Slides and an Acid to bring it down, but only gets off a bite, and we've beaten Giovanni for the first time this run. After getting the Sylph Scope, we go back to Lavender Town and take on Tower Tim, and because we're quite a bit higher level, it's actually an easy sweep. Pidgeotto is really the only obstacle, and that's just because of its quick attack. The levels are going to catch up with us fast though in short order when we get to Silphco. Along the way down to Fuchsia City, I decide to wake up and catch the Snorlax, nicknaming it Aquades the 17th, long may he swim. Once we get into town, we make a beeline for Fuchsia City gym leader, and man, definitely not brewing up a fresh batch of cyanide, Koga. It takes a couple of attempts before we get some decent luck. Koga's gimmick is about evasion and accuracy play, but we actually get some decent accuracy luck of our own, as well as some good flinch luck between Bite and Rock Slide, and we're able to beat Koga on our second attempt, though as you can see by the low health, just barely. After doing that, we go to Cinnabar Island and take care of Blaine. I know we haven't beaten rival Fievel yet to unlock our 5th gym, but let's go beat the 7th. Our special defense isn't great, and we're going to need all the points we can spare to deal with Sabrina in the Psychic gym. Blaine actually takes a few attempts, mostly due to getting hit with 2 Intimidates. One from the Growlithe and one from the Arcanine. Once we get to a high enough level, it's a pretty easy sweep with Rock Slide. Rapidash holds on by a bit, but we're able to knock it out despite it being hyper potioned. Arcanine can be a troublesome dog to deal with though, but we get a lucky critical hit on our second Rock Slide, and that's enough to take it out. Now with our Volcano badge in hand, let's go see if we can have what it takes to deal with rival Fievel and Giovanni again. Now that we're quite a bit higher level, we actually have a much easier time. One Rock Slide takes out the Pidgeot, an Acid takes out the Execute, a critical Acid takes out the Alakazam, though I'm pretty sure a non-crit would have done it too. His Gyarados survives a Rock Slide on a Sliver thanks to its Intimidate and goes down to Acid. Finally, Charizard is out last and is double weak to Rock, so it goes down easy enough. Now that we've beaten rival Fievel, it's on for another Giovanni fight, who was honestly super easy right up until the Nidoqueen. It resists 3 of our 4 moves, and Bite may have actually been a better choice in hindsight, but our special is so low I felt it wouldn't be at the time. We just Rock Slide it down, but not before nearly being taken out ourselves. That was pretty close. I should have put Strength on Ekans before the fight for good neutral damage, but I actually forgot to get that in Fuchsia City, so let's go do that and then deal with Sabrina. And Sabrina at this point now is an easy one-shot sweep with Strength. We might be a tad over-leveled for what is supposed to be the 5th or 6th gym of a normal playthrough, but I imagine we're going to struggle against the ground gym here shortly, so those levels will be necessary. And speaking of Giovanni in the ground gym, it takes a few attempts as predicted. We're weak to Earthquake, which pretty much all of his team knows, and at level 68, we aren't guaranteed to one-shot the Doug Trio with Giga Drain. Finally, we get a run where we one-shot the Rhyhorn and the Doug Trio with Giga Drain, and then get a crit one-shot with Strength on the Nidoqueen. Nidoking is next, and it takes a Strength for over half its health and hits us super hard with Earthquake. We do manage to survive though, and we hit it with another Strength to finish it off. Last out is his Rhyhorn, who fortunately goes down to a single Giga Drain. With that fight over, we get the TM for Earthquake, which we immediately teach over Giga Drain. Giga Drain was quite useful for us just now, but our special sucks, and Earthquake will be so much stronger, so we should be good to do this. Our final rival fight with Tim west of town goes swimmingly. 1 or 2 shot our way through his entire team. Surprisingly, his Alakazam didn't go down to a single strength. That tells me we may have some issues with the final champion battle, but we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. Let's move on to the Elite Four. And, oh yeah, that doesn't go well. Lorelai's Cloyster is the master troll and not only eats up our attacks due to its high defense, but it also has Protect. Perhaps we should have waited on Giga Drain. I thought we'd be able to brute force her for sure. Let's re-strategize and try again. So there's a few different options here, and I ultimately decided to just try and level up to 80 after using some rare candy. And yep, nope, still not working. At level 85, we go back to try Lorelai once again. Dugong is out first and goes down to a single Rock Slide. Cloyster is out next, and when we miss our Rock Slide, it sets up Spikes, a useless move since we won't be swapping out Pokemon. Cloyster then PP stalls us twice with Protect, causing us to waste Rock Slides. We finally get a chance to move again, and we miss Rock Slide again as Cloyster sets up Hail. Afterwards, we finally connect with another one and get a lucky flinch, and another one finishes it off. Her Slowbro hits hard with Surf, but goes down to 2 Earthquakes. Lapras goes down in 2 Rock Slides, but not before getting off an Ice Beam, which takes us all the way down to 8 HP. We just barely survive though, and out next is her Jinx, which goes down to 1 super effective Rock Slide. Bruno is next, and out first is his Onix, but 1 Earthquake sends it packing. His next Onix is stronger and actually survives on a Sliver and hits back with an Earthquake of its own. We swap to Acid for a little bit of damage as Bruno uses a full restore. Another Earthquake is all we need though, and that takes the second Onix down. Hitmonchan is next, and a Strength brings him below half as he hits back with Rock Tomb. We swap to Acid to finish him off. Hitmonlee is next and misses Mega Kick, and we land a crit Acid for the one-shot. Machamp is next, and we hit Acid for passable damage, and it goes for Scary Face. Goes for Cross Chop next to bring us low, and we bring it to red with a Strength, and it heals with a Berry. Machamp fortunately misses his next Cross Chop, which would have ended the fight, and we finish him off with a Strength instead. Agatha is next, and honestly, she's not difficult at all. We Rock Slide sweep through her entire team right up until Arbok, which manages to survive Earthquake on a Sliver, but misses Iron Tail and then gets full restored as we take it out with Strength and Earthquake again. But we actually managed to get past her without taking any damage ourselves. That was nice. Unfortunately, our celebration is short-lived as Lance is just an absolute brick wall. We make run after run, and we're just not getting anywhere against him at this point. I'm honestly not even sure if getting to level 100 is going to be enough, but I guess that's what's going to have to happen. So after over a half hour of 450% speed boosted attempts again at the Elite Four, we finally make our way back to Lance. Yes, finally make our way back at level 95, 10 full levels later. And he's actually much easier this time around. We get some great flinch luck with our Rock Slide as we super effectively slide our way through his Gyarados, Aerodactyl, and a lucky crit gives us a one-shot on the Dragonite. Then we take down one of his Dragonites with Earthquake before swapping to Strength to deal with the last one. I actually forgot he didn't have 3 Dragonites and a Charizard here. I guess I'm so used to his Gen 2 lineup. In any event, we may be in decent enough shape to try the champion battle with Tim. We use our last Max Elixir and go in. So it takes numerous attempts as well, but we finally get a run that starts off promising. Pidgeot's first and goes down to Rock Slide. Alakazam is next and also goes down to Rock Slide. Executor is next and we hit it with 2 Acids and down it goes. Next out is Rhydon, so we hit it with Rock Slide for a flinch and then finish it with Earthquake. Combo that was necessary as Earthquake was not enough to finish it on its own. Gyarados is next, and we get another flinching Rock Slide and finish it off with another. Last out is his Charizard, which is dual weak to Rock and goes down to a single Rock Slide. And there we go, that's it. We've beaten Fire Red with just an Ekans. We get into the Hall of Fame and the credits roll. Nice. That took a while, but we never used Double Team at any point in this run, so that was something nice, I think. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm not sure what next week's challenge will be, but feel free to hit me up in the comments and on Twitter. I also plan to have a Discord server set up around the 500 subscriber mark if trends continue. It's probably going to be about this next week or so. Thanks again for all your support, guys. I'm loving the fact this channel is growing as fast as it is. Hope to see it continue to grow. Anyway, guys, again, like, comment, and subscribe, and go catch 'em all.